Hey, Extension friends, Nate Burt here, NTAE Key Informant. So today on the weekly climate action video series, I want to just give a few thoughts on first and second impression. So we all know that there's research supporting this idea that the first impression, excuse me, the first impression we make on someone matters a lot, right? It doesn't necessarily mean we've put our best foot forward, right? We may wish to have a second or third chance. The reality of just the way we humans are wired is that oftentimes within the first few seconds of meeting someone, we've sort of sized them up, right? For better or for worse. And so what I want to encourage today is that while it is true that that is ingrained in who we are, it's also possible to sort of take a step back as an extension professional working on climate issues and really make sure that you're giving people the benefit of the doubt, whether that is a teammate, whether it's an administrator, whether it's a colleague, a policymaker, whatever the case might be. And it's going to help you be self-aware, right, of your body language, of your thought processes, of your mindset. And again, you may size somebody up and then figure out, hey, who I thought they were, what I thought they were like is exactly the way reality is. On the other hand, my experience has been in working with academic leaders, nonprofits, and others that oftentimes appearances can be deceiving, right? And so it takes time to get to know somebody. It takes building trust. It takes learning from them, asking questions, observing them in the wild, so to speak, right? How do they interact with others? And oftentimes people, myself included, are way more nuanced than people probably give us credit for. I suspect the same is true for you. So this is just an encouragement to really think through your relationships one-on-one with other individuals, with your willingness to show up and be curious, to be open-minded, to be accepting, and validating, and hopefully in a way that is positive, that it encourages stronger working relationships, whether you're focused on climate or other issues within the extension system. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next slide. These are just some questions that I would encourage you to ask. Again, the idea is you're meeting someone for the first time. Maybe you have collaborated with them or seen them on a couple of meetings. You think you know who they are, and this is an encouragement to really just take a step back, observe, ask questions, be curious, get to know them better, and really try to allow for the necessary time investment, the necessary building of those individual one-on-one relationships to inform how you show up, how you support others, how you ask to be supported in the workplace within extension. And so the first question I would encourage you to ask yourself is, what do I think I know about this person or situation? So generally speaking, we make assumptions, right? It's just who we are. And so I'm not encouraging you to document this, write it down, but I do think talking through it in your head, like, okay, if I have a strong reaction, positive, negative, or neutral towards someone, what is the reason behind that, right? What's leading me to these conclusions, to feel a certain way, to act a certain way? This is not an exhaustive exercise. It shouldn't take a lot of time, but it's like, okay, well, based on what I've seen earlier, I think they're an expert in their field. I think they're passionate about the work, or maybe they're more reserved. They really don't speak up a lot until the rest of the group talks first. So, again, there are just these little things. And again, I'm not asking you to fully diagnose. I'm not asking you to diagnose anyone. I'm simply encouraging you to really understand how you feel, because oftentimes how we feel shows up in our body language. Are we warm and receptive to a conversation? Are we sort of cold and standoffish? Are we somewhere in between? Are we excited? Are we low energy? And so I'm just encouraging you to really just factor in sort of using emotional intelligence. What do you know? What do you think you know about this person or situation? Okay, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be just a circumstance you find yourself in, right? It could be the kickoff meeting to an exciting project. It could be a weekly stand-up where you're going through your agenda of what's going on. It might feel like boring or drudgery. Again, why do you feel the way you feel? What do I think I know about this person or the situation? Second question, what don't I know about this, right? So acknowledging, just being a little vulnerable with yourself. Again, I'm not asking you to self-report unless you have an accountability partner of some kind that you feel comfortable sharing this with. But acknowledge the fact that there are some details you don't know, right? I may believe this person is reserved or a real go-getter, and I don't know that because the only interaction I've had with them is on this meeting or within this specific function of my job with an extension or whatever the case might be. The next question is, what should I seek to learn, right? So I think there's an opportunity anytime we're interacting with others, we're leading other people, we're influencing those above us or to the sides of us. we can seek to learn something. We can get curious. And so never hesitate and never hold back from asking questions, listening, learning, observing, and recognize the more details you add, you're never going to have a perfect impression of who anyone is. And you can have a much stronger, cohesive understanding of who they are and appreciation for who they are, so that your engagement with them is more productive. You are honoring them as a human being, as a unique person with unique values, goals, beliefs, etc. And you're able to be productive in your work, whether that's climate or something else. Number 4, what might be some advantages of suspending disbelief? Just because these are the things I think I know, these are the things I think I don't know, these are the things I'm learning about, and I'm not gonna like lean really hard into any of these things. I'm just going to acknowledge like, hey, I'm just here to observe, to be part of this, to be productive, to be a teammate, to be a collaborator, right? So suspending your disbelief before you sort of pass judgment or sort of have some very black and white thinking is often the best, right? Because you may find that, hey, your assumptions, your first or even your second impressions are incorrect or need to be revised. Number 5, how could this be really great, right? Rather than just thinking about, oh, I'm just so like, just sort of being lost in this conundrum of like, how do I show up for this person when I have these questions or these positive feelings or these negative feelings? Rather than all of those things, like, how could this be great, right? How can I make the most of this situation, working with this person? Oftentimes, we don't necessarily get to choose all the factors within the workplace or within our families, right? Or there are very few things that we often control 100%. And so to the degree that you can control your mindset, how you approach and show up and value those around you, even if you're vastly different individuals, and maybe something they do or something they say rubs you the wrong way, and you're still, again, assuming that you're safe, you're not in an abusive relationship or anything like that, think about ways this could be great and how to make the most of it within the realm of your control. And then finally, if things aren't great, which, let's be realistic, there are some relationships that need to be ended, right? There are reasons why contracts have, escape clauses, right? Because there are sometimes that the relationship is just not going to work. It's unsafe. It is unhealthy. It's unproductive. The parties can't agree on anything, whatever the case might be. What boundaries can you set? This is sort of predicated on the assumption that you don't know that things aren't great yet. Obviously, if you know things from the outset that a relationship isn't going to work or it's not safe, get out, right? As quickly and as safely as you can. Get help if you need it. That said, assuming we're not talking about that kind of a sort of more extreme situation, think about boundaries you can set going in, right? I'm not just going to, I tend to be someone who is very warm, try to be warm, accepting, that kind of thing. And it can also make you prey to people who are bad actors, right? People who take advantage of people like that and say, oh, you think everything is great, everyone's wonderful. Well, let me show you. So again, I'm not disregarding the fact that there are bad actors out there, but my hope is that in general, in any relationship, boundaries are healthy, right? This is what I can do. This is what I can't. I'm willing to discuss these issues. These topics are off limits. Again, that kind of thing. So set boundaries that can keep you safe, help you be well, physically, mentally, spiritually, etc. And then again, looking for opportunities to really see the best in people, helping them see the best in you, and finding ways to work together productively on climate issues and beyond with an extension. My call to action this week is to answer the question, what's one step you plan to take to navigate first impressions or even second impressions to your best ability, right? It may be I'm going to ask 1 to 3 questions of somebody I meet for the first time before I start, sharing everything about me, or before I ever draw conclusions about who they are as a person, right? It could be I'm going to listen and observe before I speak. Obviously, if someone calls on you to speak, then of course you'll speak to the degree you feel comfortable doing so. And you can make it a habit to listen before you speak. Those are just some very basic examples. But I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, first impressions are hardwired into us as human beings. And you have the expertise, the knowledge, the humanity to show up and to give people the benefit of the doubt, to suspend your disbelief, to find creative ways to build trust, to build relationships. And extension professionals are, in my observation, really, really good at this by and large. And so this is just an opportunity to take that skill set of building trust and relationships to the next level in a way that just gives you sort of a mental checklist that will help you show up in a way that's meaningful for you and for those around you. Thanks so much. I will talk to you on the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.